At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am one of your hosts this week, Wrestling Chris G, and on the other line with me is my brother who I'm trying to get revenge on. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how you doing?
Now, what in the world reason would you have to get revenge on me?
Oh, because you're such a mean and bad person, Doug.
Oh, you don't even know the half of it. We haven't even had your roast yet.
You better be nice on my roast.
Oh, you don't know nothing.
So I take it. So speaking of the roast, because it has been brought up in a while, so I take it you've been working on your material.
Ain't nothing to work on.
Oh,
It's just 17 years of friendship is all it is.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Personally, I just laugh every time Sino says, "Well, I gotta write stuff down." Stuff down.
You're just gonna go off of the top of your head, aren't you?
Absolutely.
I hope you're at least gonna be somewhat nice. I hope it's not gonna be at the end of it. Everyone's looking at Dougie Fresh, going, "Well, shit, what the fuck?"
All he told me was I had to say something nice at the end. As long as I put that nice little cherry on top.
Because I'm actually been hearing that people aren't they're not having the best of luck coming up with a 5-minute reel of material. I was like, oh, okay. And one of the women backed out, and I had to fill in the next one. Someone backed out, and now my sister-in-law is going to be filling that spot.
I see.
But we will see what ends up happening going down. I'm hoping everything will be nice and smooth, but we will see.
See, but I'm having the opposite problem. I'm having trouble cutting it to 5.
Oh. I'm over here scared of my brother-in-law. Should I be scared of you? Good old Dougie Fresh. But yeah, side note, our family just got a new Oculus Quest system, and boy oh boy have I been putting in some work with this Oculus. This thing is freaking amazing. I love it, Doug.
It's pretty slick.
I downloaded a bunch more songs too since you guys came to the party last week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of new songs. I also downloaded like 8 new games into it, so that's pretty fun as well. And yeah, I'm having a good old time. I downloaded Angry Birds on there. I downloaded I think it's called Project One or something like that. It's like a Fortnite game, but playing it on the VR.
Right, I believe that was on the box.
Yeah, it might have been. Is it? Yeah, Population One. Not Project. Yeah. So yeah, I downloaded Population One, the Horizon thing. I'm not downloading the Star Wars, even though people keep telling me I should, because I can't. I can't manage to like. It's $10. It's $10 a piece, and it's three parts. So I'll be spending $30 if I want the whole game, but I can't justify spending that when I'm told I will be done with the game in like 10-15 minutes.
Oh no.
But they said that everything that you can do in there is freaking awesome. But I'm like, yeah, that's nice and good and all, but I don't want to be spending $30 on a 15-minute long game. Like I may at that point just side load the damn app and just try it out and just delete it after. But I and no, I don't condone freaking piracy. But I
You
mean,
don't condone it, but
hey, okay, for everything in the Oculus I have paid for. I've spent $155 on different things on the Oculus. So I'll put that out there. I've spent a good dime on a bunch of these games and bundles and stuff just so I can have the VR experience. And I can't justify spending that $30, even though they break it up to where you can buy each part separately or you can buy it all together and save money. I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy it separately and then want to buy the other two parts when I can buy the whole thing and save like $5 right now. So I don't.
right. See, and it's interesting because I was going to justify it because you said, "Oh, I can't justify spending the $30," and my immediate thought was, "Well, yeah, but if you're buying a console game, you're spending 70. But if people are saying you can be done with the game in 15 minutes,
Yeah, I literally watched the entire thing on YouTube.
oh, that's
And
not good."
and I was done watching the video in less than a half hour. I mean, it does look cool. Like
Right.
you can grab people, you can choke them out just with raising your hand and all that good stuff. But again, I don't know. I can't. That's one thing I can't justify doing. And
Yeah. No,
I
I'm.
might change my mind if I get a gift card or something. But without that gift card, I'm not buying. I'm probably done spending on this Oculus at least for the better month right now because we have way more than
Well,
enough games. I got boxing on there. I got what looks like a Mario Kart type game on there. Like we have way more than enough roller coasters.
well, shit. If I hadn't have already bought your birthday gift, I could have helped you out.
Yeah. Did you really? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it is. And I didn't know when it comes down to the roast. Did you? I guess it's you're if you're gonna be roasting someone for their birthday, doing one of these roasts, it's a given. You have to give a gift.
Oh,
Apparently,
I was
that's
getting
rule
you.
of thumb.
I was getting you a gift because it's your fucking birthday.
Well, yeah, I know.
I mean, I wasn't.
No, I get that. I get that. But I didn't know. Like I saw like in like a bunch of different Reddit posts like must haves and must do's for roast. And the major thing is if you're roasting someone, you better give that person a gift. So hopefully everybody follows that rule. I'm not going to ask everybody to get me a gift, but I'm hoping that if they're going to be coming up saying some mean ass shit to me, that they at least top me off with a chocolate cake at least.
Well, I don't. I don't. It's your birthday. I mean, at least a card.
Yeah, exactly. So we will see. We will see. But
But yeah, I'm proud of myself. I mean, I make no excuse. Well, not excuses. I make no illusions that I didn't fall completely ass backwards into this gift. But
you get your stuff months in advance and just hope and pray that me or C Note don't go and get this thing for ourselves. So I'm hoping I don't fall into a realm where I'm like, okay, well I want this, and you're like, well shit.
I, I I'm confident. I'm not like 100% confident, but I am relatively confident that you won't already have this.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't ask any more questions than that. But yeah, no. This thing is gonna be fun. We will see what will end up happening here, because I'm trying to work out the whole camera situation. Like I have a feeling I know how I'm going to do the camera, but we will find out because I'm pretty sure I'm going to have the cameras up and I'm going to dub in the audio, which will be connected to a computer and the speakers at that point. So,
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, everybody will be able to hear, but I don't think the cameras are going to pick up the audio like the way that a movie would pick it up. So I think I'm going to dub in the audio. So that should be fun.
Gotcha.
But all right. Today's episode is episode 678, A Concierge Revenge, or translated from Japanese, Sommelier Showdown, Ishizumai versus Futachimaru. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. A Concierge Revenge, everybody. Oh, speaking of, because I know it's gonna come up, and I've already talked to Doug. For those wondering, like down the line, because we are gearing up towards the movies. There's two movies, and there's a black movie and there's a white movie in the Pokemon series, and there's these two movies getting ready to come up, and they're an hour and a half a piece, everyone. So when it comes down to it, we will be doing those movies. I think it's after episode 39 of the Black and White series is what I looked up. And these movies will be the only movies that will be coming out that month, because normally when we do movies, we give a week of a breather for you to listen to it and enjoy it and not have to feel rushed into getting into the next episode. So for that month, you're only getting those two movies. So
Right.
yeah. But other than that, it's gonna be nice. I can't wait to get into those movies. I also saw that there's an Arceus movie that I didn't know anything about, the star of this Pokemon Legends game. So I want to take a look at that as well. So I might be doubling down. I saw that on Amazon Prime, so I might be turning that on at some point at night. But all
There you
right.
go.
All right, everybody. Because if not, we're going to be all day on this episode. This episode premiered February 17th, 2011 in Japan, and June 11th, 2011 here in the States. And I'm going with the Japanese date of 1936, and I believe I am going first. Doug, you're doing the
Yes.
American date. Okay.
I am.
So I couldn't find shit on the American date. So on this date in 1936, we actually got the world's first superhero, who was called the Phantom. A cartoon strip by Lee Frank makes its first appearance in a comic book, or in comics in general. So the very first superhero, Doug, ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. So he premiered, and for people that don't know who he is, I'm sure you've seen him made fun of in tons and tons of anime, cartoons, and different shorts and everything. But he's the big dude in the purple outfit. That's all I can really say about him. But other than that, that was my date. Doug, what is yours?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who he looks like. Because, I mean, everybody, if you've seen him, you realize it. I mean, he kind of looks like a purple Green Lantern. I mean, that's not quite there, but that's almost there. I'm just on the Google page, kind of just looking at stuff. But yeah, so you might be kicking yourself. I don't know how big of a fan you are, but you might be kicking yourself. Because in the year of our Lord 1993, on June 11th, Jurassic Park premieres, and sets a box office weekend record at the time, obviously.
Get out of here. Wow. How is that not on my website? That's
I
a
don't
big
know.
movie.
Didn't look in the right spots.
Apparently, I didn't.
But yeah, so it set the box office weekend record at the time. I mean, it's been topped, obviously, because it's, it's been.
Spider-Man's getting ready to top all time. You
I
heard?
mean, it's crazy, and I don't mean to start on something, but how in the hell do you not even throw it up there for Best Picture? It doesn't have to win, but how do you not at least nominate it?
I don't. What are the qualifications that they have to go through? If you don't mind me asking, if you know.
I mean, well, I don't know like 100%, but it's all about like critics and all this stuff. And it's subjective as all hell.
Is it?
I mean,
Well, with it now just getting ready to be coming out on DVD, Doug. Has there been enough time for it to be featured as a best feature, or could that be in the next run?
it has to. Pardon me. It has to come out in the previous year.
Okay.
So I mean, I could be wrong because I think the Oscars it's either in a couple weeks or it's the beginning of March. I can't remember and I can't be bothered to look it up because I don't care because I'm not interested and I'm not going to watch. Who the fuck has 3 hours? I used to be excited about the Oscars.
It's March 27th.
Okay, I used to be excited about the Oscars. There was one year where, and they kind of fucked themselves because they've expanded the Best Picture category to 10 movies.
What did it used to be?
It used to be 5.
Oh, okay.
And there were years when I was up at school and I had nothing to do on a weekend because I was a good boy and I did all my homework. I would watch like a movie or two from the Best Picture just to kind of. And there was years where I covered them all.
Oh,
just to
okay.
have a rooting interest, but I have no interest in any of these movies that are nominated. And I'm sitting there, and like I say, Spider-Man doesn't have to win, but just the sheer amount of money it's brought in.
Did Avatar get thrown in when that was released? Just out of curiosity.
I'm almost certain it did, because it was a big movie. I mean, it was James Cameron. It was. Let's see. Yeah, I'm almost certain it did.
Let's see. It won Academy Award, Golden Globes, a Saturn Award, critics. No Oscars.
Well, it didn't win, but did it get nominated?
Let's see. Did Avatar get nominated for Oscars? Directed, was nominated for 9.
Best director and best picture.
Yep. So yeah, no Spider-Man. Did you know that that Tom Holland did not know the movie was getting ready to beat all times, that they actually got him on camera? I have the clip if you've never seen it, so I can forward it over to you. But they told him on camera during an interview that he was getting ready to have the biggest movie of all time, beating out Avatar, and that before his movie goes on DVD, that he was only 300 million away from being the best of all time.
See, I try to be humble and shit, but like, if somebody tells me that, I'm gonna get a big head, like real quick.
Yeah,
right. I got the best movie of all time.
But yeah, they told him, and he nonchalantly goes, he's like, are you for real? He's like, I'm pretty sure we're pretty far off from being the best movie of all time. And he looks off camera at his publicist, and then he looks back, and the guy goes, he's like, no, he's like, that's what this whole story is about. He's like, you're 300 million away before your movie's going out on DVD to being the biggest movie of all time. And he got stunned. He looked directly at the camera, dumbfounded, looked off at his publicist, and was like, the fuck? And then just looked back, and then the clip just stopped. I was like, oh my God, they did not just do this to him on live. It looked like he was doing a podcast, is what it looked like.
You can't be dropping that on people. You got to give people warning.
I'll shoot you over. Remind me when we're done, because it's a funny clip to watch. But I'll shoot it over to you because I have it.
Yeah. Okay.
But all right, but okay. So continue, Doug.
So yeah, like I say, it hit the box office weekend record at the time of 502 million on opening weekend.
Jurassic Park, everybody.
Jurassic Park, but obviously that's been, beaten and beaten and beaten and beaten. There's been a handful of sequels. I believe there was there 3 originals, and then they've kind of spun it off into the Jurassic World.
Yeah, and we're actually about to get the final Jurassic World movie coming out pretty soon.
Yes, and and that's got Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, and so yeah, pretty big movie. Got some pretty familiar score. I mean, obviously, people know certain scenes. The water glass on the dashboard. A man from Seinfeld getting eaten on the toilet. So yeah, pretty big movie release on this day in 1993.
And it's funny. They have on here, and this is just to put a cap on what we were talking about. As of 2 days ago, Spider-Man No Way Home took down Avatar to become the third biggest grossing movie of all time as of right now. So yeah, it has surpassed Avatar.
And it's going to stay in theaters. I mean, yeah, they're getting ready to drop the DVD, at least according to what you sent me the other day.
Yeah, they're getting ready to send the they're getting ready to release the DVD. Now, this movie, it's funny. It's gonna become the biggest movie of all time once it hits DVD, but they're going based off of grossing, and as of right now, just grossing in movie theaters, it's taken down Avatar, which was, it says that was the number 1, but they're talking on here becomes the third highest grossing, which means what was the second and the first? I mean, you would have to think that was the Avengers.
Gotta be. I was gonna say gotta be. God damn it! What was the movie before Endgame?
Let's see. You said the movie before Endgame?
Yeah, because it was
Infinity War.
Parts. Infinity War. Yeah.
Oh shit! It barely beat Avatar. Avatar has 760.5 mil, and right now, Spider-Man at the time of this writing 2 days ago was at 760.9 million. So barely beat it, but yeah, it doesn't say what number 2 and number 1 are, but it does say on here that once the DVD gets released, due to all the pre-orders as of right now, it's already surpassed and become number 1.
Damn.
Yeah. So, all right. So, all Spider-Man aside, Doug, you ready to get into this week's episode of Concierge Revenge?
Yes.
All right. So, we start this week's episode with the narrator going, with Ash's second Unova region gym badge safely in hand.
Just confused the mess out of me.
Our heroes focus on their next gym battle, which is coming up. And And it's at this point we have our three heroes. So it looks like they're leaving the forest, everybody. So it's not like they fully jumped from well, I'm not sure when this episode's going out, but the last black and white episode. So I'm not going to say last week because I'm not sure what order I'm going to put these episodes out yet. But
oh, well, it's nice that you can stop yourself. I just said last week like 15 times.
It's all good. It's all good. But our heroes are walking out of the forest and they're walking down the trail and they see a big old building. And the building is nice and colorful. It's painted nice. It has a bunch of Japanese writing around it, some sparkling flowers, and it's gaining a lot of attraction. And this is when Silent is sitting there and he's like, from the looks of it, I'd say this is a brand new Pokemart. And Iris is like, they must be having a grand opening. And Ash is like, let's go check it out. And we go straight into the intro. So, Doug.
Yeah, if this is a Pokemart, and I mean, it's a goddamn mall, is what it is.
I'm going to have to check out. I'm sure this has a lot to do with the video game. There's probably some Pokemon in the video game that is just humongo. And
gigantic.
Yeah, like you normally get one of those in every single game, like where you can go to like 4 or 5 floors and just buy all sorts of shit. Like Firestones, Waterstones, experience and clothing and just different things.
So they walk into this mart, and I'm using the biggest air quotes possible, and they're just struck with everything, and they just got everything on sale. And Iris and Axu kind of run off because something has caught their attention.
I want to point out, did you notice that a bunch of the trainers that's inside of this Pokemart as they walk in have their Pokemon outside of their Pokeball? And they're just walking with their Pokemon. Did you notice that?
I did not. Now I can't avoid it.
You got a Sawaddle, a Tepig, an Oshawott, a Pidove, a Snivy, a Patrat, and that's all that I see in this freeze frame that I'm in. Oh, what is that? Oh, we got 2 Sawaddles. There's 2. Sawaddle is a popular Pokemon. They must have just walked out of that forest. They got Sawaddle's cousins over here.
So it's basically just Pokemon that we've seen already.
Yes. And all right, but yeah, you can continue, Doug.
So yeah, after Iris runs off because something catches her mind, Ash is talking about how they probably have all the Pokemon food and medicine that you could think of, and Silent's kind of backing him up with that, and he's like, well, a normal Pokemon Center usually has you covered. He goes, but this is kind of ridiculous.
For real. And then we get Iris, and Iris ran all the way over to the jewelry section, and she's looking at all the nice and colorful jewelry, and there's a woman behind the counter, and she's like, oh, how cute. And she's like, do you think Axu would look stunning in this? And she had, okay, first off, this is a freaking diamond.
Yeah.
Like a diamond. And I know she's trying to sell, and Iris has to be what, 11? What in this salesperson must not make any commission at all. Because why are you over here trying to sell this diamond to freaking Iris, who looks like she's 11 and probably has a great credit score and everything, but has probably never used her credit or anything to even buy this thing. Like, come on.
Yeah, but pardon me, my rationale would be, and I mean, expensive is expensive, no matter how you cut it.
Yes.
But she's not buying it for her. She's buying it to increase Axu's dragon moves, which would still be a bit of a silly purchase because he only knows 2 moves. Granted, one of them is Dragon Rage, but it's not
Yeah,
like he's got a whole arsenal of moves that he knows that this stone would be that beneficial to. Considering he doesn't have
it's a
Dragon
dragon gem.
Rage,
Everyone.
and it'd be one thing if he had Dragon Rage mastered, but he barely has control of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have too much longer. Cough, cough, everybody. But he's gonna get that move down pretty soon.
It'll increase his moves. It'll look great on him. It'll be glorious. And credit to Iris, she doesn't even think about it. She's like, nah, I think we're gonna have to pass.
she's like that. I don't have money like that. So, but yeah, she goes, yeah, I'll pass. And the sales lady's like, okay, well, please take a look around. And off onto the side, we have Ash walking in the back. But I want to also point out, what the fuck type of Pokemart is this? There is a spring deerling out of its Pokeball just roaming inside of this damn Pokemart. A freaking deer. Okay, I get we live in a world of Pokemon, but come on.
There are rules in society.
And then,
oh, that's funny.
But we have Ash, and Ash is walking along, and he's looking at all the nice stuff that's in here, and looking at everything that he can't buy. Ash should be rich because I never see Ash spending a dime on anything.
Yeah, but we also don't know if he's getting we also don't know if he gets an allowance.
Well, you would think after each gym battle that he does that he gets some type of money, but I mean, that money must be off screen because I know damn well after I defeat a gym leader in a video game, they give me money. I mean, shit, I get money for catching Pokemon in this new Arceus game. I can capture 6 Pokemon and be guaranteed at least $1,000.
That's some bunk. I never got no money for catching no Pokemon.
I know, but
I hacked it to have unlimited money, so I wasn't really worried about it. But still.
Oh, wait until you play this game. Let me know whenever you do get this game because I got a way for you to get like unlimited dough in this game that I'm sure is gonna get patched up at some point. But at this point, I took full advantage of it. I'll let
that shit. They can ban you for that stuff.
No, it's in the fucking game. I didn't even cheat. So okay, I'll let everyone know. So in the second land, I think it's called Crimson Island or something like that. There's a Roserade, and it's a Alpha Roserade. So it's a Roserade that's like 100 times the size of a normal. And when you defeat it, it either drops a large experience candy or a seed of a mastery seed. And you can sell both of those items for a minimum of 3,000 coins in the game each time you defeat it. And you can defeat it, leave the town, come back, and it's back again. And you can defeat it again, and it drops the item, and you can go, and you can do this unlimited times and freaking max out on freaking money. And I mean, I guess you could say you could do this for almost any of the alpha Pokemon, but this one specifically gives out drops like items that you could sell in the game like for the most money. So she's the one that you really want to battle. So
I see.
Yeah, and it's not even cheating. You literally leave the town and you come back and she's back again and you can defeat her. And as long as you have a strong fire type Pokemon, you can defeat it in one hit and just keep doing it over and over. I swear I got like $100,000 in like 30 minutes.
All right.
But okay, back to the story. So Ash is looking at this really long line and he's like, what is this? And Silent walks up. He's like, they're waiting in a line to get in to a concierge shop. He's like, where a concierge checks your compatibility with your Pokemon. And Ash is like, a concierge compatibility. He's like, they check the compatibility between Pokemon and trainers. And then they give them advice. And Ash is like, oh, he's like, so that's what concierges do. And then he goes through to say that each concierge has a different type of ranking. And once you get up to a specific ranking is when you can do the compatibility test to evaluate other Pokemon, which we will get into that a little bit later because that's going to be key for this episode. Doug?
So I was frustrated with this.
Okay.
Because Ash gets in line.
Yes.
He walks around on the daily with an A-class concierge.
Okay.
What the fuck is he standing in a line for?
Because so Silent is a class A. So you go from C, B, A to S, is what I've gathered with this whole thing. And then I'm not quite sure. Maybe Silent's not at an S ranking. Maybe you have to be an S in order to do the compatibility test or whatnot. I don't know, Doug. Or if Silent were to do this, I'm pretty sure this would be a really short episode.
Well, yeah, I said it last time. I said if they just went around the forest, it would have been a 10-minute episode. We would have been out of there.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it was just kind of, and it wasn't something that clicked as I was watching it. I was getting ready for bed last night, and I went, wait a minute.
But we go to a clip of this lady talking to a trainer and its Pokemon, and she's basically talking about how this trainer and the compatibility, they're like in sync with each other, and that the Pokemon possesses such a mellow, kind vibe, just like its trainer. And the Pokemon that she's talking about is a Mincino. There you go.
How did you like hearing the Pokemon has a nice vibe?
I like that.
Did that hit you? Because that kind of hit me funny.
Well, I mean, you're Pokemoning, you should have a nice vibe, Doug.
No, but I understand that, and I mean, vibe is a common word in 2022.
But this was made in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Pokemon's always been ahead of its time, right, Doug?
This is also true. So and then Ash immediately puts his foot in his mouth because this woman, opens her curtain and the kid walks out, and Ash goes, "It's a girl."
And Silent's like, correct. He's like, the proper name for a female concierge is concierge. Ooh, I actually said it right.
It's a girl.
Stop being sexist, Ash. Yeah. And Silent's like, why don't you go have a consultation with her? And Ash is like, okay. So he runs over to get in line. And this is when the episode kind of takes a turn for the worst.
I'm afraid to be in a room with a woman by myself.
I know. I mean, he should have learned from Brock how to compose yourself.
Yeah, but do we know 100% that Brock exists at this point?
I don't know. Somebody was feeding Ash.
Well, this is also true. So he gets in line, and he's like, well, this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and he had
And
just
then,
gotten in the line.
yeah, if he'd have gotten in there 5 minutes ago when he saw it, it wouldn't have been so. But anyway, and all of a sudden we hear a voice from off screen go, "Excuse me." You don't have to worry with the line, and we look over, and it's a hand coming out of a curtain. And she's like,
And we always follow
I'm
the
a
hand.
always. And she's like, I'm a connoisseur, and I can, pardon me, I can see you right now. And my immediate thought was, oh, it's Team Rocket.
That's what I was thinking too, to be honest. But
But then
no,
when it
it
wasn't,
wasn't.
I was disappointed. And so he walks in, and this woman takes him and just immediately is like, have a seat. And we go through the whole thing. My name is Ash. I'm from Pallet. This is my Pokemon Pikachu. And we find out that her name is Burgundy, which I mean, obviously it's a silly name, but I mean, I like it. It's easy to remember.
Yes.
It's not like we're going to sit here for 10 minutes banging our heads against the desk trying to remember the other member of Team Rocket like we did the other week. Oh, boy. She said, my name is Burgundy, and she's like, I am a highly ranked connoisseur. And she...
It helped.
I'm sorry, I'm just stuck on a fucking freeze frame. But she's so smug, and she's got her eyes closed. And I am a highly ranked connoisseur.
Well, come to find out, she's only a level C. But Ash is like, all right, cool. I'm on a journey to becoming a Pokemon master, and this is my Pokemon Pikachu. And it's at this moment that she's like, Pikachu is an extremely rare Pokemon in the Unova region. And she sniffs Pikachu, and she's like, Pikachu even has a rare fragrance. And he's like, I don't need to know about Pikachu. And he's like, I doubt, no doubt we're a perfect match. And Pikachu's like, Pika. He's like, see, I wanted to ask you about this one. Come out, Sawaddle. And Sawaddle comes out looking all spiffy. And Burgundy stands up. And she's like, Bond. She's like, I'd be more than happy to have a look at you too. And she looks at him and she's like, Lord. She's like, it is an elevating time. And then s'il vous plaît. And she speaks a little bit of French. She's like, all right, let's see. She's like, ho. And Ash is like, what do you think of my Sawaddle? And she's like, the partnership between you and your Sawaddle is the worst ever. And she like takes her finger and just pokes Ash like almost directly on his cheek and in his eye. And Ash just falls over. Doug.
And he's like, well, okay. I mean, I was whatever, but like, why? And she's like, well, this Sawaddle special move is called Spore, but you really should be looking for a Sawaddle with a special move called Chlorophyll. And Ash quite rightly says, well, why? And she's completely caught on her back foot, and she's like, well because I said so. How dare you question the opinion of a connoisseur like myself?
Yeah, who's recognized by the Pokemon Connoisseur Association.
Yeah.
She's so spunk.
And she's like, well, okay, so that was my expert opinion. And go on, go catch yourself a new Sawaddle and come back to me, and then we can have another evaluation. And Ash is like, well, shit. And Sawaddle's like, yeah. And
just throws this string shot right in the face.
And just gets her completely gets her. And she has to like pull the freaking
string shot.
Has to pull the string shot off of her. Why won't you pause?
She's like, oh, why the nerve of that annoying, pesky little bug-type Pokemon. Don't you have any proper Pokemon you can show me? And she's like, I've had quite enough of that one, so show me another now. And Ash is like, no thanks, I've got to go.
She grabs him and pushes him up against the wall, and she said, you show me another Pokemon. And he's like, all right. And he throws out Snivy, and Snivy, you can already tell, has no time for anybody's bullshit. And she takes a sniff of Snivy, and the pungent aroma of black pepper and no subtlety, and eyes are too sharp, and
like kitchen knives.
she's about to lick it because she says, now it's time for the taste test, and Snivy just says, lick this, just vine whip.
Right on her tongue. I'm surprised her tongue didn't split in. Oh, it's a kid show. If this was a kid show, if this was any other show, that tongue would have been split right in half.
Right in half. She's like, you Snivy have no respect for my tongue. And
Ash is like, you shouldn't say things like that.
Then the pig comes out, and the pig is just like, I'm cute, I'm happy. And she goes
the face that Pig makes.
And the pig's like, you're gonna love me, and she's like, it's no good, it's too happy. And the pig is like, I'll show you too happy. She fucking hits it with Ember.
She's like, this Pokemon just sits here. She's like, I don't even have to evaluate it to know that. It's a pig's like, achoo! Ember, and just burns the mess out of her. And then he sends out Oshawott.
And Ash, well, I don't think he sent it out. I think Oshawott was just doing its thing, because Ash was like, why do you keep, shooting down my Pokemon? Oshawott just wants to be loved and be friendly, so he goes right over and starts hugging her shoe and rubbing up against her leg, and looks up, and you can just see the look on Burgundy's face, and she says, well, Oshawott smells stale and has a childish behavior, and
or she said, or that old stale and musty aroma drifting through the air.
Says, Oshawott's a complete waste of my time. Oshawott says, have some water gun in your face. And then we cut, and then we see
Scraggy.
And
okay, so it was Pidove that he sent back. Okay.
Yes, it was. So, and this is Burgundy's own fault, because she gets down on Scraggy's level, and she's just kind of looking at it. She gives it a sniff, and says, Scraggy smells like an old shoe. And Scraggy's like, Scraggy's like, I'll take that as a compliment, and kind of pulls its skin up, and of course it falls, because that's what it does. And Scraggy, she says, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And Scraggy just says, have at you, and just headbutt.
She's like, enough. All of your Pokemon are far too acidic for their own good. He's like, they're all paralyzing my tongue. And Ash is like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But before, you said Pikachu was a very rare Pokemon and had a rare fragrance of something of that sort. And she said the word rare doesn't necessarily mean good.
Pikachu's like, how about this? And just thundershock.
And
she's like, all your Pokemon are horrible. You need to completely reevaluate your thought process. You need to start over from scratch.
And Ash is like, sorry, but I just think you're wrong. And she's like, then you don't mind being a loser? And she's like, you said you want to be a Pokemon master, collect all 8 gym badges and make it to the Universe League. Newsflash, not gonna happen.
And she's just reading him the riot act. And about this time, Iris and Silence show up. And
thank God.
And they're like, oh, there you are. So they couldn't hear any of this.
No.
That's bullshit.
Well, remember, they walked away.
Well, I understand that. But she's been yelling at him for like 5 minutes.
True that.
And then when she finally turns around, she sees Silent, and she just gives him the stare and the point like the monkey out of the Family Guy, and he's like, ah, and Silent's like, Burgundy, I know that face.
And he's like, she challenged me at the gym for a badge and she lost. And she's like, and I've been waiting for this day ever since to get my revenge on you. And Silent's like, revenge? What the fuck do you want to get revenge on me for? She's like, I want revenge not only because you defeated me, but also for all those ridiculous and hurtful things that you said about my Pokemon. Silent's like, well, I am a Pokemon connoisseur. She said, oh, yes, sir, Mr. Concierge, sir. And then we go to a snap, like a flashback of her holding her Oshawott, look in a dress, might I add.
Little kid.
Yeah. And we cut to her saying that Silent said that her Pokemon, they have a horrendous aroma. Ha 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 ha. Most unbeatable. Now go wash your face and come back when you have learned a lesson. And Silent's like, I said no such thing to you.
She's like, oh ho. I took your actions and I studied and I vowed to become a tough evaluator, and I studied to be accredited as a concierge, and I have been. And we go through like little flashes of her training and her taking the exams, and she said, and I went back to the Striaton gym for my revenge, and I was told that you had left.
And that you ran away from me.
You ran away from me.
And you just left because you knew that I was going to come back for my revenge. And she's like, I defeated Chili and earned your gym badge already. Which is good for her.
Yeah.
But she only cared about going back there to beating Silent, is what she says.
And like you said, she shows off her gym badge, and she's like, I already got the badge. I'm not worried about the badge. I want you.
So then after this, she says, then I'll become the world famous, and I'll finally have my own concierge shop after I defeat you. And Ash is like, hold on. Are you saying this isn't a concierge shop, Burgundy? And Silent goes, exactly what class of concierge are you then? And she's like, well, I'm a class C at the moment, which is at the very, very bottom. And Silent is like, well, that's kind of odd because C are only beginners. And he says, according to the association rules, you're only allowed to work as an assistant to an A-class concierge and above. And Ash is like, so you're lying and all of this Pokemon compatibility was no good?
What was his first fucking clue?
I mean, it would have helped that she looks like she's younger than him.
Well, right, but how about when she attempted to lick Snivy? Fuck.
She's one of those weird girls that wants to cook Pokemon. There's a whole podcast on that, and that still astounds me.
Yeah, you come across it when you were kind of looking for other stuff. Yeah, I haven't given that a listen. I don't know
if I want to, but I mean, they probably do good work. But I mean,
yeah,
just
let's not burn a bridge before we, So Ash, like, Ash is indignant. He's like, so all this stuff was bullshit, and she's like, no, any concierge worth his salt would have been able to say what I said.
And Silent is like, Well, the relationship between Pokemon and trainers is a complex one. You can't always make a good judge in evaluating by the manual. And she's like, I don't need you to lecture me. I already know 100 times more than you'll ever know. And I'll prove it by beating you in a Pokemon battle. And Silent's like, alrighty then, I accept your challenge.
Put a smile on his face and everything. Like, that would freak me out.
And this is when we get the Who's That Pokemon. And this week it is Duat. Duat.
And I had a moment where I was like, what the fuck? And then, come to find out, gee, what Pokemon does Burgundy have? It's like, all right, you win this round.
You thought they were getting off track already.
I was gonna get mad. I was about to text you. I was like, they broke their streak.
And it's now time that Burgundy is like, we'll have a 2-on-2 battle. How does that sound to you? And freaking Silence like, that's fine, whatever you say. And Ash is in the background just geeking out. He's like, this is a real connoisseur battle. He's like, I've never seen one before. And freaking Iris is like, well, if you ask me, I think this battle's going to be a bit of a pain. And
on what grounds? She
well,
doesn't explain herself. Ash doesn't challenge her. She just, this is gonna suck. How dare
just made you all sorts of mad.
Can't even talk.
But Burgundy throws out Duat. So her Oshawott has evolved, and Silent's like, oh, your Oshawott evolved. So since she threw out Duat, it'll be nice for him to throw out a grass type Pokemon to have an advantage over her. And Ash is like, yeah, with Pansage, who's a grass type, that'll be the perfect one for him to throw out. But of course, he doesn't do that, and he throws out good old Dweeble. And she's like, oh,
that's a Dwebble he caught, right?
Yep, that's the Dwebble that he just caught a couple episodes ago. And she's like, Aloris, it is evaluating time again. She's like, s'il vous plaît. Oh my, you're actually going to use a bug type against my water type. And she's like, if your ability to choose wisely were a food, I'd say it had spoiled. Which was a good
bird. Oh damn.
And Silence like, we'll just see about that. It's evaluating time.
I call some bullshit here, right? Because if Ash had done this exact move, called out a Pokemon with a disadvantage, Iris would have been all on his shit, calling him a kid, saying that's a kid move to do. How do you not know?
Well, Silent's a lot older than the both of them, so she can't call Silent a kid. And since he has proved himself to become a gym leader, he must know what he's doing. Right, Doug?
I just think it's a double standard in this place, and I won't stand for it.
So, Silent's like, you and your Pokemon are getting a nice taste of what we have to offer. Bond. But if I'm victorious, she's saying, if I am victorious, then you have to say my evaluation method is correct. And Silent's like, I'm afraid that will never be the case. And so maybe Silent was mean to this girl when she was at the Pokemon gym, because he's being pretty big of a smartass in this episode and very cocky. And she's like, well, if you're so sure, then promise me that if I win, Ash will replace all of his Pokemon. And Ash is like, wait a minute, why the fuck are you throwing me in the middle of this? This has nothing to do with me.
I'm in the same boat. I'm like, hey, now listen here. I caught these Pokemon. What are you doing? And I'm damn sure not giving up Pikachu. If I give up Pikachu, it's the end of the show.
For real. And so it's at this point she's like, but according to my evaluation, the compatibility between you and every one of your Pokemon is the worst of the worst. And Ash is like, oh, come on. That's nuts. Silent, can you please jump in and say something? And Silent's like, it'll be fine. Right, Burgundy? I'll accept the battle challenge. And Ash is like, what?
Ash just immediately got diarrhea. He's like, what the fuck?
He also said, I'll put my A-class concierge rating on the line as well. He's like, I'll take full responsibility if I lose, and Ash's Pokemon will be replaced. And Ash is sitting there throwing.
He's like, you can't volunteer that. He's like,
you can't volunteer this on my behalf. And Silent's like, relax, Ash. The word lose does not exist anywhere in a A-class concierge dictionary. Ba-ba-ba.
Lightning for no reason.
I know. What so if that doesn't if that's not in the dictionary, so what if it was two A-class concierges battling each other? One of them has to lose.
Ooh. Ooh.
Just saying.
Oh damn.
And Ash's like, oh. Ash's like, oh, but he's like, but you still don't have to drag me into this. And Iris is like, our Silent becomes totally different when it comes to evaluation time. And Ash's like, yeah, but what if he happens to lose? She's like, if I know Silent, he's got a foolproof plan. See, there you go, Doug. He's not a child. He has a foolproof plan.
Why? Because he's an adult.
Yep.
and a gym leader who kind of sort of quit.
So it's at this point that the battle starts, and she calls Duat to go out and use its water gun attack.
Right, and Silence Dweeble counters with Protect.
Yes.
And the water gun just shoots up. Just hits the rock and goes up.
And then after that, she tells Duat to go in for a scratch attack, and Silence says, protect again. And Duat goes over and just starts scratch, 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 scratch. And Ash and Iris is like, oh man, Dweeble's only defending itself, and it being a bug type and a rock type, Pokemon like Dweeble are no good up against water type like Duat. And Iris is like, but it looks like Silent has a plan. And then we go back and it's just scratch, 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 scratch. And Duat finally gives up and just jumps back over to Burgundy, who we find out is now breathing very heavily. Doug?
Yeah, and Burgundy kind of speaks and is like, well, defense is kind of a strange strategy. And, you know, you would think you have to attack at some point. And, you know, once again, that's another bad choice for you. And she's like, we're going to finish this now since you left the door open. And she calls out for water
pulse.
Pulse?
Yep.
Water pulse. And Dwebble just gets caught right up in it and lands. And you think, oh, well, that's it. It's done. And it just pops right up. And Burgundy's shocked. How did Dwebble handle that water pulse? And once again, we hear about special abilities. And we find out that Silence Dwebble's special ability is stability. And I'm sitting here going, where in the world were special abilities in the ruby and sapphire and gold and silver shit?
For real, right?
I'm sitting here. And, you know, Burgundy's kind of surprised, and Iris goes, oh, of course, that was his plan. And Ash sees what we saw a few seconds ago, that Duat was kind of breathing heavy because it used up all its energy with the scratch attacks while Dwebble was in Protect.
Yep.
And
now Dweeble is in full effect, and he's not tired at all.
And he jumps out of his shell and he uses
X scissor.
skull.
X
What's that?
scissor.
No, but he used a move before that.
Um,
Skull smash.
shell smash.
Shell smash.
So he used shell smash and then he intertwined X scissor into the shell smash and hit DeWatt, who seems like he must not be that trained at all because just that one attack just knocked out DeWatt and DeWatt was done.
Well, also you have to account for the fact that he was gassed.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, but yeah, I do think your low training does hold a little bit of water because she just in the little bit that we've known her, we can see that she's got a bit of a temper and she might not have the patience to properly train a Pokemon.
Exactly. And it's at this point that Silent educates her and says that my Pokemon are all sturdy and each Pokemon is complex, but the sturdiness of my Pokemon was able to withstand any water attacks to not make my Pokemon weak against water attacks. So he's like, I chose a Pokemon with a type disadvantage. Oh no, she's like, you chose a Pokemon with a type disadvantage just to teach me a lesson. And he's like, it seems you still don't understand the true nature of evaluating. A concierge's job isn't simply to say no, but to see each Pokemon for its own unique qualities and judge them based on that. Doug?
And Burgundy is just shaking with anger. She's like, "This is Burgundy. I don't need a goddamn lecture." she's like, "Look." She's like, "Look. That was the first fall. I've still got another Pokemon. The battle's not over." She
And
calls out a Salzbuck.
yeah, Sawsbuck.
Sarsbuck.
The
Sawsbuck.
it's the evolved form of a Deerling, the season Pokemon.
So Ash, never missing an opportunity to pull out Dexter, pulls out Dexter, and we get the definition, and we find out that the plants on Sawbuck's horns change on the time of the year,
Yes.
and basically Dexter says they use them to like note the changing of the seasons, but my immediate smart ass response to that is, isn't that called a fucking calendar?
Well, yeah, but that's the good thing, and it was freaking pain in the ass in the Pokemon Go game because Deerling has a different form for each season. And each season for the year last year, they brought out a different Deerling, and you had to make sure to catch it during that season because after that season's over, you can't catch it anymore. So
Oh damn!
I had to make sure to go out and find every single one for each season to and evolve it. So I had each form of the Deerling, which was a pain.
That sounds like a pain in the butt.
Yeah, luckily my cul-de-sac that I live in is very popular with kids that play Pokemon. So I feel like, I mean, I can't say that I didn't venture out to find some of these deerling, but for the most part they popped right up in front of my house without me even to have to move an inch.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah. But all right. So Silent sends out his Pansage to finish off this battle, and he's like, "It's time." Let's see, what does he say? He's like, "It's time to redefine and develop into one that is destined to become a true and timeless classic in this battle." And she freaking Burgundy has had enough of Silent talking. She's like, all this recipe talk makes me angry and hungry. Now use Horn Leech. And freaking Salzbuck goes in and Pansage goes down and uses Dig. And Salzbuck stops right there and starts looking around and is like, where the hell did Pansage go? And Silent is sitting there and she's like, but just what is the secret ingredient that he's talking about. And Silent's like, now we will explore the full depths of battle. Silent is a dick in this episode to this girl. Oh my god.
He's a little bit condescending, yeah.
He's like, my recipe revealed. And then Pansage jumps up behind Sawsbuck. Sawsbuck does jump kick. Pansage does dig again. And then does bullet seed when he comes right back up. And then just bullet seed, bullet seed, bullet seed 3 times in 3 different parts of the body. And she's like, Silent, that's sneaky. And he's like, sometimes it's necessary to attack from the front. Sometimes it's necessary to attack from the side, but sometimes it's necessary to attack from the back.
She's like, and then she calls Sawsbuck to use Magahorn, and Magahorn, and then Sawsbuck starts to charge right as Pansage comes up from the ground again, and Silent gets this little glint in his eye, and he goes,
like, perfect.
Now I'm gonna end with my unexpected recipe ingredient, which, yeah, I'm kind of with Burgundy here. Talking with all these recipe puns is a little exhausting.
I'm kind of hungry now too, because I can hear, I can smell through the vents the food that my wife made. It smells like she made pepper steak for dinner tonight, and I can smell it through the vents.
You'll actually get to eat at a reasonable time.
I know.
So Silent tells Pansage to use Solar Beam, and Sawsbuck is still charging with Megahorn, and then we meet in the middle. Freaking Silent's not even watching as the explosion hits. Burgundy is gobsmacked. We get the screen goes white, and then we have the standard Pokemon standoff, which we've seen probably, what do you figure, maybe 50 times already?
Yes.
And Sawsbuck is standing there. Pansage is standing on the other side. They got their backs to each other.
And then Sawsbuck just falls.
Sawsbuck just goes... Actually, he doesn't even fall yet. Silent just pops up and goes, victory's mine, and then he falls. So, I mean, obviously, maybe Silent looked up, and because when we panned over to Sawsbuck, we see the anime circles. So maybe Silent saw something before we did.
Yeah.
But
then that was the end of that battle, and everybody is kind of dumbstruck. Ash and Iris are sitting there, and they're like, "Well, that was a battle." And we kind of get a flash to the evening, and we see Burgundy walking away, and she's all angry, and Silent's like, "Hey, Burgundy, you've got the ingredients for great concierge potential hidden inside of you, but that recipe still needs time to develop and grow." And she's so mad. And he's like, the key to anything worthwhile in life is patience. And she's like, I'm sick and tired of your lectures. Listen, I'm going to become an S-class concierge, and you'll see how strong I am. And he's like, good, I'm looking forward to it. And she's like, huh? And it's at this point where she's like, I'll have my revenge on you someday for sure. She just runs away.
Darts off.
And Iris is like, she's fast. And Ash is like, that couldn't have been too easy for her. And then Silent's like, well, the truth is, being able to pass the C-class concierge evaluation is no walk in the park. And Ash's like, really? He's like, yeah, but you've got to give her a little bit of credit for that spark and spirit. And Ash is like, hey, Pikachu, I say we show as much spark and spirit as Burgundy and give it all we've got at the Castelia gym. And then they start...
Hated that. It's such a... Hey, let's focus our energy. Oh, shit. If you were focused, you'd have been at Castelia already.
And that is how we end this week's episode, everybody. So, Doug, what rating do you give this week's episode?
A 2.5.
I'm going to go with about a 2.5 as well.
It's only a 2.5 because of the battle. If it wasn't for the battle, it'd be a 2.
So, all right, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of speed through this pack opening because it's the end of the night for us, and don't want to take up any more of your time listening as well. So let's go ahead and get this pack open. Let's see. Ooh, it's another white card. Ooh, 2 for 2, Doug. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Doug, let's see if we can go 2 for 2. What energy card am I looking at?
Water.
Boom! There we go.
Let's go.
Let's go. I don't think you could have a better night, man. All right, I got a Spirit Mask, a trainer card called Gordy, a Bravery, a Bagon, a Love Disc, a C-Dot, a Slack Oath, a Flabby. My reverse hollow is an Apple Tune, and ooh, I have a full art Drazkozot V. So ooh, that's a nice card. Really nice card. All right, 2 for 2 this week, Doug. 2 for 2. So, do you have anything else to add this week before we sign off?
No, I'm very happy with our recording session. Obviously, I think people could tell that this was a twofer.
Yes.
A couple of decent episodes. Nice to be back in the black and white groove, and we'll be done a little before 9 o'clock, which is good for us. So yeah.
So all right, well then say goodbye, Doug.
Bye, Doug.
All right, everybody, and this is Wrestling Chris G. Now, I'm not quite sure what next week's episode is going to be. It could be Kanto, it could be black and white, but we will find out next week. You will find out when we find out. But no, on a real note, everybody, thank you for listening this week, and we will see you next week. Have a good night, everybody.